Well, if you'd like to grow your own pears, but you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on trees that have been grown by a nursery, you want to kind of do it yourself, you've come to the right place. So today we're talking about Bradford pears, or more generically, Callery pears, as Bradford is actually just a specific cultivar of the Callery. So behind me we've got a pretty typical Bradford pear. They're usually lit up with white blossoms in the spring, and in the fall they turn to these kind of reds and maroon colors. But that's a pretty typical shape. As you get up into the trunk, you've got these areas where you'll have several competing trunks all in the tightly clustered together, very narrow crotch angles. Not great overall for longevity of the tree. You could prune it to be a little bit better, but overall that's just the scenario that you're going to run into with these. And coming out here by the road, we can see a more generic Callery pear. It doesn't have that same habit of branching that cluster of branches up near the top of the trunk like the Bradford does. And it gets a lot taller, so you won't see it in any parking lots near you, at least not by choice. Taking a closer look in here along the branch, you can see these very distinctive thorns on these trees. And you can see the way these leaves look as well. They're glossy, they've got this dark green color and these light green veins. And the edges of the leaves look kind of like the teeth of a saw. And these leaves are really staying on late into fall. Looking out into the woods, you can see a lot of the trees out there have lost their leaves. Still have some on the hickory out there. But the Bradford and this Callery, they're holding their leaves for quite a while. And it actually makes it a great time to go out and spot these trees. But first, let's go ahead and take a look out in the orchard, and I'll show you how some of these have actually been used on the trees that we've got out there. So coming out into the orchard where we've got our pear trees, just wanted to show you a few examples of these actually being used. I didn't create these trees, they're all bought from nurseries. Here's our bosque pear tree, and looking down here, you can see the same tendency to have these thorns, same kind of upright growing habit as the Callery pear we just looked at. Really putting off huge branches here with from those suckers. Looking at the next one, this is a stark honey sweet pear. This one also has several of these down here. You can see the same branching structure, same thorns. Again, a lot more suckers that I really need to get cleaned out so that that growth goes into the tree. But it's a good showcase for the use of those pear trees. And here's an Asian pear, 2-on-1 Asian pear. And we see the same thing here where we've got these thorns here on these branches as well. And plenty of suckers. So obviously suckering is an issue, one that you can keep up with a lot better than I can, but we'll get those in the spring. But clearly plenty of growth capabilities here, and when we direct all of that back into the tree itself, we can have a really good strong tree. Alright, so now that we've seen what Bradford and Callery pear trees look like, seen them in action in the orchard, I want to go ahead and go around the property and show you just how abundant these are. There's a reason they're considered invasive. By the garage here, we've actually got one that's planted itself. Not sure if I'll be able to get much root out of there, but that shows you just how well these things put themselves out there. Got another one on the other end over here. You can see it hasn't lost its leaves yet from where it's standing in here. We come out here by the woodshed, and I've got one down here. Nice, beautiful leaves to it. And coming out to where this black cherry tree is, one planted itself out here. Actually, I already started the process of grafting this one over a little bit with some Colette pear, a European pear variety. I've got all these different varieties out in the orchard that I can go to. I can get some dormant scionwood. I can take that out. I can graft to these Callery pears, to the Bradford pears, and I can get those established on those rootstock. I can then expand my orchard with those varieties that I already enjoy, or I could go out and I could order scions to get additional varieties introduced into the orchard here, but at a very, very minimal cost, or even free if it's between the varieties I already have on site and the rootstocks that we have on site. So we'll turn this area here into a bit of a mini pear orchard, bringing in those varieties. I'm not going to try and transplant any of these. We'll just go ahead and graft them where they're at, do some frameworking, and see where that can get us. So hopefully this has inspired you to get out there, find some friends with some pear trees, and maybe some friends with some property where they've got these Callery pears out there. They want them gone anyway, or they want to graft them as well. But I'm sure if they've got one, they've got plenty, and that they'd share. So hopefully you found this helpful, and if you did, go ahead and check out this video next. Thanks for watching.